everybody, welcome to episode 48 of the Brownie Knits podcast. I'm your host Gina, aka Brownie Knits, and this is my little sidekick Kennedy, aka Kiki. You're being camera shy? There you go. So I hope that you guys are all doing well and have had a great last few weeks. I'm excited today to show you some finished projects that I just completed. It always feels so good to get some projects wrapped up. I have a very large project that I wrapped up recently that I'll show. And then I actually got to take a little knitting retreat weekend with a couple knitter friends. And I was going to talk about what we did and the different yarns and textiles and such that we saw on our trip. So, all right, let's just get into it, right? Yeah. Oh, we also have giveaways to talk about. So we have a winner for one, and then a couple other giveaways that you can register for that I'll discuss in a little bit. So, all right, first up, we went, I guess it was not this past weekend, it was the weekend before. So my husband was so kind, and he drove Christina of A Knitter's Life and I down to see and visit our friend Carol, who lives in Cincinnati. And we've been planning this since very early spring. It actually might have been, I think it was spring. But anyway, the Downton Abbey clothing exhibit was at the Taft Museum in Cincinnati. And so we purchased tickets way back earlier in the year and made plans to go down and visit with Carol. So we went there, and then we went to a yarn shop. And when you're in Cincinnati, you have to go to Jungle Gems, which is an international market. So we went there and had lots of fun. But it just so happened that it was also the weekend of the wool gathering, which is about an hour and a half, I think it was, from Cincinnati. It's like 2 hours from where I live, that we usually go to in the spring. So we decided we'll just make a weekend of it. We'll stay the night in Cincinnati and then drive up to the wool gathering and get to do all of it. So that's what we did. And the textile exhibit for Downton Abbey was so nice. You would not believe, first of all, these actresses are so tiny. I mean, I knew that they were really petite, but seeing their clothing in person was shocking because they were the amount of detail on the clothes. It was just crazy. Which, I mean, I guess if you think about it, in order to get to show up on camera, and they do look pretty detailed on camera, they have to be even more so in person. So it was just beautiful. And I'll throw up some photos throughout this little discussion of some of the things that we saw. The beadwork, the lace work. There was one dress that was worn by Maggie Smith's character that even looked like it might have had some tatting on it, but I'm not sure. So, and they did a good job of having little displays below that told you, who wore it and what season, and a little bit about the actual costume itself. So the guys were also much taller, either that or they had these on mannequins that were much taller than what I thought the actors were. And they had nice displays of a lot of the costumes as they were worn in the show, so that you could kind of see and jog your memory a little bit. There was one dress in particular that was made out of a tablecloth, and that was really pretty. And it was just really a nice little exhibit to see. I think the exhibit now is going up to South Bend, Indiana, next for a while. So if you live in this region, you could probably get to see it there. I was trying to see, no, on my little handout, it doesn't say where it's traveling to next. So that was a lot of fun. And when we came out, the gift shop, we were waiting on the boys to pick us up because they went, and I'm not sure what they did. I think they might have, I don't know where they went. But anyway, we were waiting on them. So we took a little trip to the gift shop really fast. And of course, I could not resist getting a little Downton hat. So I did. It'll look better once my hair's grown out a little bit more, but I thought it was super cute. And I think Carol got one that was very similar to this one. And then what did Christina get? She didn't get a hat. I don't know. You'll have to check her podcast episode. I'm sure she'll discuss it, but I can't remember what she got. A scarf. She got a scarf. That's what it was. It was very cute. But anyway, they had like really cute hats, and I just thought they were fun. So that was a lot of fun to go and do that with the girls and see the textiles in person. And we were just like fawning over things, and it was inspiring too. There were different things that we were commenting on, like, oh, wouldn't that be cute if you did like a little knitted blah 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 or whatever. So that was fun to do. After the Downton Abbey exhibit, we then ventured over to Knitwits, which is a yarn shop in Crescent Springs, I think, Kentucky. And I told myself before this trip, no bags, no buying bags. I just can't help it. I just love bags. And I ended up getting this super cute bag. And the reason I fell in love with this one was, look at all the little sheepies and their different patterning. I just thought it was absolutely adorable. And then I justified with it being like a really large bag, because most of my bags are sock size bags. So I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And it's got polka dots on it, and I love polka dots. So anyway, this bag is from KCsPocketstoGo. And I plan on using this bag. I have some larger projects in the works, like Afghans and stuff, that will fit in here for a little while until they get too big. But anyway, I picked that up at Knitwits. I just couldn't resist. Aren't they cute? They're just so fun. And then I purchased only one skein of yarn there. They had this yarn from, it's from Delicious Yarns. They have the cutest little logo, and it is Two Sweets Sport. So it's a sport weight yarn. It has, it's 100 grams, so 310 yards, 100% superwash merino, and this is the chocolate mix 4. So, you know, it just looks like lovely, delicious treats, doesn't it? And to carry their delicious theme through on their label, the backside of their label looks like a nutrition label, which is really cute. So I thought that was fun, and I had delicious yarns on my list of yarns that I wanted to try. So even though it's a sport weight, I'm planning to make little socks out of it for myself that I can wear around the house, because it's just so squishy. I know, it doesn't have any nylon in it, so it won't hold up that well, but that's okay. I'm planning on using them as like bed socks kind of thing. So they're cute. It's just so cute. So that was fun. We ventured in and out of there pretty fast because the boys were waiting on us, so we were on a time schedule. And then we went back to the house that night and got to hang out and chat and knit. And Sam made us his famous homemade pizzas, which were delicious. And Christina surprised us with one of her little fairy pins, which is so cute. So I wanted to share that on the podcast, and she made this. And it's been hanging on. I have like a little fall themed bag that now it's a finished project, so I'll have to start a new one. But it kind of matches my bag perfectly. So yeah, isn't it cute? I don't know that she's selling them or plans to sell them, so I don't know if you can get them. You might be able to talk her into it, but I just thought it was really cute, so I wanted to share that. And then the next morning we got up and had a nice breakfast, and Christina said it's like our little country home retreat, which is nice. It really was like that. It was very nice, and Carol has a beautiful home and is very welcoming to us every time that we go down, and all of her pets absolutely are adorable. And so then we drove up to the wool gathering, and I really didn't know what I was going to find. There was one thing I had in mind to purchase there. And then other than that, I just was like kind of open-minded about everything. So, and the one thing I wanted to find, and the thing that we went to very first thing, was to get this colorway that was dyed for the show. And this is from Destination Yarn. And she dyes all of her yarn based on destinations. And this one is called Three Goat Welcome. The festival is in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and it has a Jersey, what is it called? The Jersey Dairy Barn, I think, is right there. So it's on that property. And it's an 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 400 yards, and it's just so pretty. Let's see, if I hold it back, there you go, you can see it better. Variation, it has some speckled sections, has the red sections. There was one that had more teal in it, so Carol grabbed that one, and this one had more red, so I grabbed that one. So I just thought it was really pretty and just like a nice, I'll whip up a pair of socks and have that as my memory from the weekend. So that was really all I planned on. And then I found one of the booths was selling Rock and String Creations, which was another yarn I had on the list. And I picked up a couple of skeins of that. So this is they're both on her Super Sock base, 75% merino, 25% nylon. And this one, they're just beautiful self-striping yarns. She had little swatches knitted up of each colorway so you could really tell how they were going to look. And I wouldn't have imagined them being such thick stripes from how it looks in the skein. So I'm really glad that they had that there knitted up. This one is called Zombies Walk at Midnight. There we go. That's more true. And this one is Appalachian Autumn, which is just beautiful. So those also will become socks, which had me thinking about like, okay, I have all this sock yarn. I've been working diligently to get my stash down all year long, and I have worked my way through the majority of other weights of yarn, but I keep accumulating sock yarn. So I think I'm going to set my goal, my personal goal for 2017 around some kind of sock goal. So, and it needs to be more than one pair a month. Yeah, because I know I'm going to keep buying sock yarn because it's way too easy to justify. The other thing that we found at the wool gathering were these sheepy scarves, and we each got one, and they are so cute. They have like the little sheep all the way around. They had this this one is like a grayish blue. I think it's more gray than blue, but you never know. Different people's eyes see different things. And then they had like a cream and brown one, and the other two ladies purchased the cream and brown one, and then I got this one. So when we made Patrick take a picture of all of us up on the little tractor there. So it was just a really fun weekend and a really fun adventure, and I enjoyed so much spending some time with the ladies. I don't get to see them nearly as much as I would like to, and it's just really great when you have somebody to share your passion with you. So that was a lot of fun. And then I came home and I was like, okay, I have to finish up some projects so that I can start some new projects and use some more stash and my new yarns. So while we were on the little weekend adventure, I thought, I know myself, and I know that all I'm going to be able to knit on is something very simple, because I'm going to want to chat and write things down and take, just be really engaged in our conversation. So I needed something very simple to knit on. So I went to my stash so that I was still participating in 2016 Stash Down in the Brownie Knits Ravelry group, which is our year-long knit along and crochet along. And we're just working on knitting down our stash. So whatever you had in your stash as of January 1st, 2016 is eligible. and then you just load up photos of in progress or patterns you're interested in or finished projects, and that will make you eligible for the giveaways that we do every other month. And so anyway, I had this skein of Blue Ridge yarns, Kaleidoscope in the color Pumpkin Spice in my stash, and it was deep stash. It was old. And I thought, okay, last year I made, on this same trip, I made pumpkin colored socks for Patrick. So this year I'm going to make them for myself. So here are my pumpkin spice socks. And I just did 64 stitches. I did cuff down on a US 1, a 2.25 millimeter. And I did a twisted rib. Then I did a little garter stitch heel and a round toe. So I thought they turned out really cute. I liked how they, how the yarn behaved. I thought it was very cute. Kind of reminds me of like a little animal print or something. But anyway, it's perfect colors for fall and autumn. And we are definitely in autumn here now. I don't know if it'll totally stay because sometimes we hit like a little bit warmer patches in October. But it had been in the 90s and it was miserable. We actually, at the event, it was so hot. Baking underneath those tents. But then yesterday, I think it was, the weather really kind of broke. And so it's been, today I think is going to be in the low 60s Fahrenheit. So that's a lot better than the 90s plus. So anyway, I made those socks on that weekend and then finished one up when we got back. And what I knew I couldn't concentrate on doing while talking was my Jujuy shawl by Joji Locatelli. And it's finished. It turned out so cute. Yay, yay, yay. Boy, that bind off took a long time, but it's beautiful. And I used Madeline Tosh 80-10-10 in the color Earl Grey. And then the second color is, or the second yarn, the darker blue, is a baby alpaca yarn and a fingering weight. And it's from Uncommon Threads. I thought it was really pretty. And then the third color is a light blue, and it is Mona Serena in the color Tide. So, and that actually I believe is more of a, it's kind of a fingering sport weight kind of on the fence. And it worked out really well for this shawl. So yay, I think it'll be so pretty and so much fun to wear. It has not been blocked here, so it'll probably grow a little bit more. But I wanted to show it to you guys anyway. So that one's all finished up, and that was such a fun knit. I really enjoyed making that one. So her patterns are all wonderfully designed and well thought out. So yep. And then, oh, I received this. This is one of the new booklets from Knit Picks. It's their On the Go Knits booklet. And this one's all about like running and exercising outside and things that you could wear for that. And I was sent a copy because I had the pleasure of making these two hats. So the collapsible hat, and it was really fun to make. You can kind of tell, let's see if we can get this other picture. Yeah, here, look at these. Well, let me tell you who the designer is. She is, Allison Griffith designed this one. And it uses Knit Picks Swish Worsted, which I really like their Swish Worsted. It's really nice and soft and nice to work with. So here you go. You can see the hats. And see how it kind of tapers right there and comes to like a little point there. So when you take the hat off, it's literally, it looks like a little cylinder almost, so that you can tuck it in your pocket and it'll fit right there. And then you can just pull it out when you're ready to run, or when you're done, take it off and stick it back in your pocket. So, and the pink is like a neon-y color so that, you know, they can see you easier when you're running and that kind of thing. So that was a lot of fun to make. So I don't know, I think I made that earlier this year. So I thought I'd share, since I wasn't able to share that finished item, those finished items with you when I did it. And then the big finished item that I have to show you today is my finished granny square afghan. So the yarn that I used as my main color, the green there, is Picks Hawthorne in the Poseidon colorway. And then I just used so much leftover fingering weight yarn that I had. And then I had some mini skeins that I purchased along the way, and mini skeins I was given along the way that are in there. And it turned out great. So I've had it hiding up here to make sure that I didn't forget to show it on the podcast. So now it will go downstairs and go to its rightful owner, Kiki. We decided yesterday that I love making blankets and afghans, and Kiki loves using them. So this one will probably actually end up being one of hers that she uses to curl up in. And then I'm knitting on one now that is mine. So we'll fight over that one when the time comes. But yeah, this one was really fun to do. I mentioned earlier that we have the 2016 Stash Down, or Stash Down 2016, however you want to do it, going on in the Brownie Knits Ravelry group. And we do a giveaway every other month. So the next giveaway that we'll do is for this skein of Knit Pick Stroll Fingering. And the color for this one is Coffee Shop. And it's a really nice one. So I'm going to draw for the winner of this one on the very next podcast. So you can put up entries until that comes out. It's usually a couple weeks to 3 weeks after I post a video that I do another one. So that's the next thing that you can win from that thread. And we always have a yarn and book giveaway going on in the group. And this last time, or our current giveaway, I should say, for the yarn and book giveaway, is a special one because it's my hubby's new book. And thank you so much to everybody who sent in questions and participated in this giveaway and our last podcast, and all the feedback that you guys sent when I had Patrick on the podcast. You are all so sweet and very kind, and we had a great time recording that episode together. And so many of you asked if I would have him back on the podcast, and I promise that I will. So he will be wrangled into that. So the winner of this giveaway is going to win a copy of The Clearing signed by Patrick, and a skein of this lovely Anzula, which is a 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere in the color Red Shoe, 250 yards. And I think I said in the last podcast that this was a sport. I don't know why I said that. It's actually 5 stitches to an inch. So I was wrong. But anyway, look at this. And the winner for this is, drum roll, Kathryn-Anne from Pennsylvania. And Kathryn had asked a question about that she loves when authors are able to get the reader hooked from the first sentence or the first chapter, and how Patrick approached that. And you can see the answer to her question actually in the previous episode to this podcast. And for those of you who posted, actually Kathryn was the last one that had a question that she asked that was answered in the podcast, I believe. Now that I say that, I'm wondering if I think that's right. But anyway, there's a post in that thread where I say, questions 2 through whatever were answered in this podcast episode. And then from there, he's been actually typing in Ravelry answers. So you can go and read that thread if you're interested in seeing what he had to say about writing and such. So Kathryn, let me know your address and I'll get this shipped out to you. And if you didn't win, don't fret, because we have another giveaway, another yarn and book giveaway. And this yarn and book giveaway I have a series of books that were donated to the podcast by this author, and they're signed by the author. And this one is from Russ Hall, and the title is A South Austin Vampire, a Blue-Eyed Indian Mystery. All right, and so you would win a copy of this book along with this gorgeous skein of yarn from Swan's Island, and it is a fingering weight yarn, and the color is purple. So I thought it went nicely with the vampire theme here. To register for this yarn and book giveaway, go up to the Brownie Knits group in Ravelry, and I want to know, since this is kind of, Halloweenish, and where I live, I'm in autumn right now, I want to know what your favorite autumn or fall traditions are. So let me know your answer, and that'll register you for this next yarn and book giveaway. Okay. I wanted to give one other shout out really fast to Julie from Diary of a Yarn Snob. So if you haven't watched her podcast, go and check her out. She sent me a message after watching the podcast episode with Patrick and asked a few questions about, did you guys work here and, different things like that in these years? And it turns out that Julie actually worked at the company where Patrick and I worked in the 90s. And we didn't know that until that episode. So I thought that was really funny. And I'm so happy Julie reached out and we put 2 and 2 together. So hi, Julie. And now it's time for Knitspiration. And this time, the Knitspiration is a sweater that I am obsessed with. So I am probably going to put up some additional stash yarn for sale in Ravelry to make myself feel less guilty about purchasing yarn to make this sweater, because it is just gorgeous. It's the Fox Crossing sweater by Simone Kereit, Kereit. So not sure if that's how you pronounce the last name, but anyway, it's gorgeous. It has this little stranded color work area up here with the little foxes, and then it's a cardigan, and it's just so pretty, and I'm so obsessed with it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put some stash yarn up for sale for sweaters that I no longer want to make, so that I can make this one. Okay, that's everything. So I hope that you found something that you enjoyed in this podcast. Pop up to the Brownie Knits Ravelry group, and I will have an episode 48 thread, and let me know what you guys are working on, or what you guys have seen in the knitting and crochet world that is interesting to you right now. I love to learn about all kinds of new things from you. And yeah, so until I see you again, happy knitting and crocheting. Bye-bye.